welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern at the request of Patreon subscriber rGold, and this is Sephiroth Fabled Soldier Broodscale combo. Basking Broodscale combo has been a deck in the Modern metagame since Modern Horizons 3 gave us Basking Broodscale. Combos off with a bunch of cards that exist in Magic. In Pauper, it's Sadistic Glee, but in Modern, we have a better card, Blade of the Bloodchief. Whenever a creature dies, put a +1 counter on equipped creature. Basking Broodscale. Whenever a +1 counter is placed on this, make a 0/1 spawn that has sacrificed this token, add colorless. The loop here is you sack the spawn, which triggers Blade of the Bloodchief to put a +1 counter on Broodscale, which makes another spawn, and off you go. That's infinite mana and an infinitely large creature, just like that. What you do with all that mana at that point is up to you. You could attack for infinite, but if they have blockers or if Basking Broodscale is summoning sick, you got to find something else to do. Glaring Fleshraker. Whenever another colorless creature enters under your control, deals 1 to each opponent. This is now infinite damage if you pair this with the Broodscale, because an infinite number of spawns will come into play. Kozilek's Command. Target player scries X or makes X fellas. If you make infinite additional fellas and scry your deck, then you'll find Glaring Fleshraker, and then you win. Emrakul's in here. Easy to cast that one when you have infinite mana. Just take control of your opponent's next turn, then untap on your turn and attack with your 13/13 flyer and your infinitely large Broodscale. And now, Sephiroth Fabled Soldier, a new addition to the deck from Final Fantasy. When Sephiroth enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. So now we have a draw engine in this deck. And whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved this turn, transform Sephiroth. So just on the front here, we have a Blood Artist style effect, which also goes infinite with Basking Broodscale. And in the back, Sephiroth One-Winged Angel. If we're comboing off, this will happen, but I'm not sure how often the backside of this is going to matter. But if we Kozilek's Command for 4, play Sephiroth, and then just sack the 4 spawns for mana, this is a line that exists. 5/5 flyer, Supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth One-Winged Angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Now you are a Blood Artist. And whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures if you do draw that many cards. Pretty sweet. It's a draw engine on its own. The stats are pretty low for Modern. 3 mana, 3/3. Like, that's not really a brawler in the format, but we have a bunch of shitters we're happy to sacrifice to this. The Sephiroth also dovetails off Delighted Halfling, which the deck was playing anyway as a colorless mana dork. And then the rest of the deck is Urza's Saga, things to tutor with Urza's Saga, and ways to dig for your combo pieces, Malevolent Rumble and Ancient Stirrings. I have played this deck on the channel before, both in Pauper and in Modern, but Sephiroth is new. Excited to try it out. Let's get in. I'm on the draw in round 1. My hand has half of my combo, some protection, and some dig, plus Urza's Saga. I'll keep. There are plenty of matchups where Vexing Bauble just doesn't do anything, but I'm still going to put it into play. Sacred Foundry. Alright, Boros is where we are. Ragavan is my opponent. Eldrazi Temple would be a great draw. Or Delighted Halfling. Broodscale, interesting. Alright, I'm just going to Cavern on Eldrazi. Save myself the life points here now that I have the whole combo. Get Blade of the Bloodchief down. Broodscale costs 2 mana to play, 2 mana to adapt, and it's 1 to equip the Blade. Oh, they just exiled Eldrazi Temple. I mean, I'm glad they didn't hit a spell that's helpful, but that is the card I wanted to draw next turn. Okay, this creature can block or eat a removal spell. Either way, I'm pretty happy with it. I have to take damage because it's not an Eldrazi. I'll get Vexing Bauble out there. I'm not spending that mana on anything else. Mardu Energy. We've got a 3rd color here. This is not unheard of, but it is not the top deck in the format. Arena of Glory, cast Flage, And now Ragavan gets a taste, but I can exile Ragavan at this point with my lands. Exile Wooded Foothills. Didn't want that anyway. Scoreboard. Oscillate Pride. They have not... Or yeah, they flaged. Alright, they did gain life. Briefly forgot about that. Okay, I think here I'm going to exile one of these creatures and make a friend. Okay, exile target creature. I think it's going to be Ragavan. And make a 0/1. I make a 0/1, exile Rag. I just don't want them continuing to stampede this mana advantage. I don't mind Oscillate Pride that much. Because if I go infinite, I don't care how many cats they have. A Flage. Alright, so they are doing whatever they can to keep me from comboing off. I'll float mana here so they don't gain the life. That is a heads up count to 5. Because they know they can lose at any point that I have 5 mana. Sephiroth, interesting. I think I want a Stirrings here and try to hit a land and build out my action. Ooh, that is suddenly 4 mana, but only for Eldrazi spells, which is not what I'm trying to cast here. It doesn't help next turn either. Oh, it activate abilities of Eldrazi, so that does help. Alright, I'll get Eldrazi Temple. This can make a construct, and then I can engage in some combat stuff. They're 2 cards away from Flage, jumping in with haste, which does just kill me. It's still attacking. Fearless. I'll make a 3/3. If this eats a removal spell, that's fine. Block the Oscillate Pride. Okay, so that does put a 4th card in the graveyard if they're just building up to Flage. 5th card in the graveyard. Okay, so they can have Flage here. If I had blocked a token, this would not be possible. Flage is not specifically what I care about, though. Alright, I guess it matters if their last card in hand is a Galvanic Discharge. Urza's Saga is going to tutor Springleaf Drum, because I need as much mana as I can get this turn. Hold on. Float Eldrazi mana. Cast Broodscale. Equip Sword, hope I don't die. The sword equipped, alright. So now... I guess all there is to do is adapt this thing and hope I win. They didn't respond. I think we're good, team. And I have the Sephiroth, and I have the Springleaf Drum that can make any color. And now we just click till we're happy. I'll play a bonus Blade. Now that I have infinite mana, I can have double infinite mana. And my opponent here is just waiting to see what my actual win condition is, and I'm happy to show them. It is the Big Badass from Final Fantasy. I will draw a card. Cool. Alright. Just a matter of getting my pieces together before my life total gave out, which was close. Right, Fatal Push helps. I'm checking lists because I'm not hyper dialed into Modern right now. Clarion Conqueror is a card that they might board in against me. Orm's Chant. Thoughtseize. Wrath of the Skies. Vindicate, Wear Tear. They have Goblin Bombardment and Static Prison in their deck, of course. All energy decks do. Okay, so Fatal Push, maybe Nature's Claim. I don't think I want Thoughtseizes and Dismembers. I think I want Pithing Needle, because Goblin Bombardment's a tough card to beat. Vexing Bauble is out. I don't need you. I don't need these Emrakuls. I don't think that's what the game's going to be about. I don't hate Delighted Halfling, but I might like these sideboard cards more. My opponent's not going to have counter spells, but this is still a ramp object, and counting to the necessary mana was all I was doing last game. I guess I don't have room for the Nature's Claim, but I have Haywire Might in my tutor package, and Pithing Needle can turn off Goblin Bombardment as well. This is what I'm going to do. And there's 2 Pasejus in this deck. Yeah, I don't need the Nature's Claim for this one. I am going to keep... I need a creature to turn on this Fatal Push, but I do like the Saga, I like the Temple, I like that I have the Blade already. Alright, well, there's the Fatal Push. I'm going to play out Springleaf Drum first. I am extremely worried about Wear Tear as a deck with Urza Saga and artifacts. Dump Nile Spellbomb. Interesting that that's in. What did I do with my graveyard that they care about? I guess Emrakul is in lists. Alright, Thoughtseize probably takes Fatal Push here, because I have another Blade of the Bloodchief lined up, unless they have a Wear Tear ready. Okay. Noted. Alright, I will commit myself to getting Worn and Torn, but I will make them do it. Instead of developing a creature here, which if it's a 3-drop, I can't Fatal Push anyway. Let's just have this turn. Oh, Vindicate. Sure. All right, that's sweet. Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier in the mix. If I play Temple, I could have commanded there, but I kind of like the Fatal Push. Flage. All right, we're just ripping off Flages here. Lightning Helix to your face. I can exile that with Kozilek's command in the future. There are 4 cards in their graveyard. I'm just going to pass. If they play a spell or they fetch or they can't get Flage online. All right. Now I have to reply. Kozilek's command. Exile X cards from graveyards. I'm going to make pals because Sephiroth is about to be really good. Exile Flage and Nile Spellbomb, I guess. All right, so they can Thoughtseize me. Take one of the Sephiroths, then get buried by the other one. Sephiroth down. Blood Crypt. Are we going to get Thoughtseized again? That's a no. Sephiroth is unlikely to survive here, but it will be worth a couple cards on the way through. Ooh. A lovely distraction. Black mana off the spawn. I'm going to feed to Sephiroth anyway. Sephiroth, trigger, sack this spawn. I think I want to get a halfling in here. The Broodscale's just not doing anything. Not yet. They're down 2 Thoughtseizes, probably still have a bunch of removal. Flage. All right, another one of these. Pretty good. This will kill Sephiroth, and that does read whenever another creature dies. Which does count Flage. It's both players. All right, Flage is back up to 4 cards. I just need a Blade and we're off. Temple. Yeah, I'm kind of fizzling out here. Attack. I have Fatal Push that can kill Flage. The spawn can sack itself. And then I'm revolted. They need one more card in the graveyard before that's a concern. Tap Sacred Foundry. Didn't do anything. I don't believe their hand is nothing. Attack with Halfling. I think I can put one of these Broodscales in. If I think their hand is removal, let's start working through it. I'm not going to adapt it right away, because if they use a removal spell in response, then I don't get a spawn, and I would like at least that for my trouble. Okay, nothing happened. That's cool. All right, Fetch Land turns on Flage. Now they can clip the Broodscale for free. That's fine. They were going to get something anyway. Dumped a Ragavan to Elegant Parlor. Good call. There's Flage. They did not Arena of Glory it. In response to killing my Broodscale, I'm going to make another spawn. Then Broodscale dies, which turns on Fatal Push. End of turn, Fatal Push. And we're looking for a sword. Another Fatal Push. Let's keep that turn going. All right, Delighted Halfling, continue your epic beatdown. Oh, Fatal Pushing that. I think they're just aggressively trying to get Flage back into play here. Or they're just flooded on removal. Because I think that using Fatal Push against my deck, which relies on a 2-drop creature to go off, is insane if you don't have more going on. And they've spent so many turns not doing anything that there's a good chance they got more going on. These are the games where Emrakul would be really good, but I boarded it out. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should leave one in. Do I have a Surveil land? I don't. I mean, this does get a card onto my deck that's not good. It also turns on Fatal Push without losing a spawn. Fetch puts 3 cards in the graveyard. I'm going to keep my fetch land for a push. Let's go. Where's the Saga? Now we're playing the game. This lets me do stuff and is a path to Blade of the Blood Chief. It's also a path to Soul Guide Lantern, if I would rather go that way. If I think that's what the game is about. Oh my god, they're spending so much mana right now. What even is this? Wrath of the Skies for 4. Why would you do it for that much? Oh, you put the energy in and then you do it for 1. Right. That's how that card works. It's just an energy bank. Correct. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to hold on to Fleshraker as well. They're so close to Flage, I don't want to hang my poor buddies out there. Damn it! Alright, just draw the best card in your deck, that's fine. They probably actually take Fatal Push here and then just kill me with Flage. Yep. This is 6, 79, 10, 12 damage. You dance around the Galvanic Discharge that they play 4 of and you haven't seen any of yet and get got by the 3rd Thoughtseize. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Alright, Flage, do your damage. I do still have the big rip of Blade of the Bloodchief to try to win. Assuming their 3 cards in hand are literally nothing. I am going to fetch now. There's only one Fatal Push left in my deck. Okay, we're dead. What a battle. Alright, Thoughtseize is a really good card against combo decks. Who knew? Do I want one Emrakul in here to crack open games that look like that? I think I do. Is 21 lands with 3 halflings enough? Because I don't actually need Cavern of Souls in this matchup. I think I am going to try it like that. Rather than cut one of my spells, I think this mana is enough. I'll keep this hand. That does everything. And I think getting Blade into play is fine. We know they play Thoughtseize. We also know they play Vindicate and Wrath of the Skies. Blood Crypt. Thoughtseize. Down to 15. Yeah, taking Rumble makes a lot of sense here, because that lets them play a normal removal game as I try to curve out here. Can I afford to get the Overgrown Tomb? It's pretty bad if I draw Sephiroth and can't use it. I don't have any colorless mana for the rest of the cards in my hand. Alright, I'm ignoring Sephiroth exists. I'm just going to try to Goldfish. At least make them respond to me, because I'm not doing anything else in the background. Yep, Fatal Push. Unsurprising. Ancient Stirrings, cool. Urza's Saga, Llanowar, Waste. Saga is weak to a bunch of cards they play, but it is just an excellent card. Llanowar Waste starts to turn off on my hand. Right, I guess I have to swing for the fences on Saga here. Elegant Parlor. Arena of Glory. Weird Tear. The biggest beating imaginable. Yep, that is the card I'm most scared of out of this entire matchup. And now it falls apart. I need an Eldrazi Temple to start doing anything. Emrakul might still be able to turn this game around. Clarion Conqueror. Nightmare Fuel. I'll still take an Eldrazi Temple. Hey, we did it. We did it, team. Alright, this can kill Clarion Conqueror and move my game forward. Shadowy Backstreet. I think I'm going to let Conqueror hit me once, because if they second main cast the front side of Flage, killing Conqueror and exiling their graveyard seems like a good way to spend time. Alright, less interested now. Exile, target player scries X and exile target creature. 3 lands that don't cast the cards in my hand. Bottom, bottom, bottom. Got the Eldrazi Temple. We're still playing. Alright, something to do here. Something that triggers Fleshraker, perhaps. Oh. I really hate the idea of just dumping my life out into a Wrath of the Skies, but I also don't think that I'm winning a game where I don't play my cards here. I'm at least on board. If they don't have a sweeper, like if they just have Galvanic Discharge, they got choices to make. It's sweet that Vindicate has come up in 2 games. I love seeing this card in decks. Seasoned Pyromancer. Alright, this is not someone who has a sweeper ready to go. Discarded Ragavan and Seasoned Pyromancer. Goblin Bombardment. That's pretty good. They can kill my Rootwaller right now. Or Broodscale. They should. They didn't. Alright, interesting. If I draw the sword, I win. Okay. I did not win. Forest and I'm going to Beseiju this Goblin Bombardment. Force the issue. They have to sack their board to deal with Broodscale now. Then I get to attack the old-fashioned way. Or they could just take out Fleshraker and leave a 2-2 in play. But then I'm still attacking the old-fashioned way. Right, they've dealt 1 to Fleshraker. I'm going to adapt in response, so I at least get a damage on the way through. They could sack Seasoned Pyromancer to save 1 life, but that doesn't even make sense. Alright, Seasoned Pyromancer in play, Seasoned Pyromancer in the graveyard versus a 3-3 Basking Broodscale. Who would win? Right, I'm attacking for 3. They've got 1 card in hand, and they're drawing. Deck full of good cards, but if their hand is just 2 lands, we're ripping the sword away from having an infinitely large creature, which they can block for at least 5 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 turns they can block my infinitely large creature, so I need multiple things to go right here. No. They exerted this. Hasty Seasoned Pyromancer. This one does go +1 actual card. They discarded a single Ragavan. A Johnny also with haste. Alright, they're doing their part now. Drawing Emrakul would be pretty good here. I wouldn't complain about that. Alright, I've taken some damage. Glaring Fleshraker. You're behind the curve here, buddy. But now the sword is even better. All right, I'm on defense. I need my combo to come together, is basically what we're dealing with here. Flage, no! All right, now I need Emrakul, and I'm not even sure if that's enough. Broodscale is dead. Probably going to be attacked for 6 here. Oh, all right. Oh, what? Okay. Yeah, they figured it out. All right. I am going to take all of the damage because I think I need all of my mana if I rip my Emrakul or Overlord of the Baelmerk. That's a fun last card in hand. Okay, so Rumble, Stirrings are second looks. Emrakul is the best draw. Other than that, I'm basically in the garbage. Stirrings, find me Emrakul. Kozilek's Command. I mean, that's some damage. Triple Sephiroth to the bottom. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna scry X and make X friends. Chaining Kozilek's commands together is now a thing I can do. Make a spawn on the way in. Opponent takes 5. No, I'm out of all mana. Should I have left a green up? I guess I have to just scry all these to the bottom then. Bottom, 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 bottom. Springleaf Drum. That deals 1 extra damage. We're 3 damage short. Tough. All right. That was a sweet game, though. Almost had a Fleshraker run there at the end. Maybe I am supposed to leave a green up in case I hit something like Stirrings or Rumble, which I actually did, which would have been good hits. Okay. That might have been user error right at the end. Sweet match, though. A lot going on with both of these decks. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I like this hand a lot. Saga, Kozilek's Command. I'm doing a lot of ramping and then a lot of digging. Delighted Halfling. Just playing some Yawgmoth out here. I went with the Tempest Basic Forest today. That just spoke to me as I was putting my deck together in the Magic Online deck builder. Okay, Arena of Glory. Looks like some more Boros. More like Boringos, am I right? I can Kozilek's Command for 1 here, if I need to. Or I can let Saga tick up. It's up to my opponent, really. Ragavan. Do I care about that? I could just delete it and scry 1. I think I want to do that. Because if my mana is sunk into Urza Saga the next couple turns, ooh, Sephiroth. I'll take it. Put that right on top. I can cast that off Halfling. Rumble. All right, how do I do everything here? I don't think I can, is the real answer. The real sad answer. I'm going to Rumble. Asking Broodscale. Put that one in my hand. Put it in the bank. And I will pass with the ability to make a 1/1 construct if I want to. That 1/1 construct comes at the cost of a 0/1 spawn. Is a spawn or a construct a more useful item to me? The construct could be 3/3. Oh, we're Domain Zoo. All right, fun. I'm a little more interested in that than energy. This is not a mountain, despite being red. They only have Abzan color land types. Flage will delete my Halfling, I'm sure. I am going to make a construct on the way through. Now that Halfling's gone, Sephiroth is a turn behind. Or did I just literally miscount and blow it because that 1 mana? I drew Soul Guide Lantern. Now I don't have to think about anything. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can make an Infi large here. I guess I'll just do that. Get Blade. I have to play Forest. 1, 2, 3. Broodscale. Make sure to use the Eldrazi mana for that. Yeah. Sweet. Seen enough. Okay, Domain Zoo. Fatal Push kills some of their stuff. Dismember kills their stuff, but it hurts. Kill some of their stuff, not even everything. I'm looking at a list right now. I see Consigned to Memory, Stubborn Denial, Lightning Bolt, Leyline, Binding. From the sideboard, Wear Tear, my nemesis, Clear and Conquer, my other nemesis, and more Consigned to Memories. Right, Cavern of Souls does matter here because of Consign. I think having Fatal Pushes to take pressure off and kill Clarion Conquer are where I want to be. Vexing Bauble doesn't matter. They do have Flage, so Soul Guide Lantern matters a little bit, but I got to make room somewhere. And I think comboing out is my primary objective. Emrakul will not help me if I'm getting blitzed, but will help me if they're in the control posture. I think having just the one floating around for the same reasons as last round makes sense to me. Let's try it. Okay. Hand, not bad. Human Avatar Soldier, Eldrazi Lizard. Unfortunately, these don't overlap for Cavern of Souls. Are we sure Sephiroth is not a lizard? Broodscale is the bravest soldier of all. What are we talking about here? Okay, they mulled to 6, didn't start on a ley line. They're posturing like they have Ragavan. They do indeed. Be great to draw Black Source here and just shrug that off. Impossible. Alright, Ancient Stirrings. We will ignore Ragavan for a minute. Do I want the Urza Saga or the second Broodscale? I think I want Broodscale. Try to overtax their mulligan. Fetching pre-combat. Territorial Kavu. Alright. I hope they don't flip an important 3-drop off my deck now that they've spent mana pre-combat. Exiled Urza Saga. Okay. I think here I want to Malevolent Rumble. Cavern on Eldrazi. And Rumble. I'll take S words for 1,000. And are they more likely to kill my spawn with a lightning bolt or my blade with a sideboard card? I'll get the blade in. They know I have Broodscale in hand. They know they can't counter it. Blade is face up, but I am taking some beats here. Pre-combat fetch. This is likely to make Kavu larger. I don't know if they have a Triome that makes it full size here. Yeah. It'll be 4/4. They would need something that includes Underground Sea spread of lands to round out here. And we saw Indatha is their Triome. It's Sephiroth exiled. They exiled a forest with Ragavan. You can have that. I wasn't going to use it. They're spending a lot of mana. Clarion Conqueror, my nemesis. I have the Fatal Push, but it is not helping here. I'm going to Malevolent Rumble and just try to hit a fetch land. We did it. Alright. Wooded Foothills, get in my hand. Play that. And I'll pass. Fetch Shock puts me to 9. They've got 6 damage otherwise. I don't think I'm winning this game. Territorial Kavu doesn't trample on its own. It needs help from Scion of Draco for that. I lose to Stubborn Denial, but I'm going to lose to that no matter what. They're exiling my Kozilek's Command from the graveyard. I'm going to block Kavu, so I don't take a gajillion. And then Fetch Shock, lose to any counterspell, or any burn spell. Alright, we successfully removed that thing. Ragavan, trigger, exiled Malevolent Rumble. They might actually cast that. Well, Eldrazi Temple lets me at least try for a win. They are casting Rumble, 2 Territorial Kavus, 2 lands. And they do have the mana to cast Kavu, thanks to their endless stream of treasures. They took the Arena of Glory, that's terrifying. Alright, Eldrazi Temple to attempt to win. The 3rd Broodscale. At some point, that's enough of these. Okay. Broodscale. Broodscale. Does this actually help to play the second Broodscale, or should I level up this one? I think I should adapt this one. It's 2 chumps either way, and I'm not taking anything down with me. Although I could, I guess, interact with the Ragavan. It plays around removal better if I play the second one, but I'm in a spot where I think I have to take risks to play the game successfully. Lightning Bolt. I will respond by making a 0/1 spawn. Oh, Lightning Bolt again. 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm at 1. Alright. They're using the haste land that they took over an additional threat last turn. Unlucky for me. Alright, the 4th Territorial Kavu. There they are. Okay. So that game partially brought to you by not having a black source for a long time, but that's okay. The Clarion Conqueror did come up. Mostly just got bashed with stuff for a while. I don't think I want Dismember. They just hit so hard and have so much burn. Yeah, this is my plan. Hasn't changed. Access to black. I will keep this. I have access to black and colorless from this hand. Haywire Might could rip up a Leyline. They did have a Leyline. Oh, they had two. Wise guy. All right. Well, Haywire Might less good now. But that is a mostly useless card. Like, this is basically a 5-card hand. Or it's a 6-card hand, because the first Leyline is actually a card. The one after that, not so much. Okay, now that I've drawn Overgrown Tomb, I'm going to fetch Forest before I do anything else. And then Stir. Drum, Saga, Temple. It's Temple or Saga. The universally reviled Wear Tear is looming for me, but I will take Saga here. Re-Halfling. And I will float this Haywire Might out here. They shouldn't fear it, but if they do, and I can flush out a removal spell, that would be sweet. Okay, fetching for Surveil land. Kept the card. Passing back to me. Eldrazi Temple. Alright, Urza Saga, get in there. And I could play and equip Blade of the Blood Chief, but that just makes Wear Tear way more awful for me. Just gonna attack them for 3. Blitz mode, activate. You want to sit there with your hand of 4 consigned to memories? I'll just kill you the old-fashioned way. 3 lands. They did not play a Clarion Conqueror. I have not been worn or torn yet. Saga ticked up. I was not expecting to get this far. Alright, attack. I don't know if they have any flash creatures, but I'm not respecting them. I'm just taking chunks. Fetch down to 11. Do you have a 3rd Surveillant? No, just in Endotha Triome. Okay. This game has taken an interesting turn. Land number 4. Surely you have a card to play. Alright, a 5/5. My beats are over. Construct. Another construct. Do I have any useful tools? Blade of the Blood Chief? I mean, I guess just having this thing in play has its uses. Cavern on Eldrazi. Equip Blade of the Blood Chief to construct token. We'll see if they want to start taking actions here, because I can sack my Haywire Might to buff this. Right, Leyline Binding. What do they want with this? They want the construct. Haywire Might killing this means it never leaves play at all. This is one of those newfangled Oblivion Rings. Not the classic old one. But that also means my construct is a 3/3 instead of a 6/6 this turn. Lightning Bolt. Alright, fair enough. We found all the reactive spells that they've been sitting on. Laid up a construct and pass. Kavu's getting rowdy. I suspect we'll see a rummage here, based on how little they've done this game. Yeah, discard a card, draw a card. Discarded the 3rd Leyline. Not going to block. Played the 5th land. Kozilek's Command, alright. There is 1 forest left in my deck, I believe. Indeed, indeed. I'm going to equip the other blade to a Delighted Halfling. Diversify my bonds. I'm going to attack with all my creatures. And I have some cool tricks here. I could win the game if they have nothing. Exile target creature and make X friends. Every one of these spawns represents +2/+2 on my attack. Yeah, alright, that makes sense. Consigned to memory. They're down to 6. The race is on. And they are committed to that race. Discard and draw. Dump to plains. Come on, deck. A spell. Something useful. I hate you, deck. I hate you so much. Okay, I'll attack with my creatures. I'm going to keep slugging it out. Maybe I was supposed to leave a halfling back, because now I died Tribal Flames. Yeah, I think I was supposed to leave 1 blocker back. Shit. Alright, don't have Tribal Flames, please. Looted away a Godless Shrine. Yeah, that was bad. Even if I end up getting away with this, I should have left this halfling back, because if I chump, it makes my squad bigger, and the clock doesn't change. Flage. I need another burn spell here. It'll be really interesting to see if this goes after a creature or my face. If it goes after a creature, then they don't have the burn spell. Okay, they did go after the construct, which means I'm going to survive this turn. Oh, but they're stifling the Flage into play. Alright, so they have a 6/6 blocker now. Alright, I gotta draw a Broodscale. Come on, deck. So many good hits. So many hits. No! Alright, now I lose. All right, just kind of flooded out there at the end, and the consigned memory on my Lethal Kozilek's command was good counterplay. So if I had left this halfling back to block, maybe they kill this one pre-combat, but then I have more power in play. All right, they got me. Another cool, close back and forth match. I haven't done any winning yet, but I have at least had cool games and made decisions. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3. I'm going to keep my hand. It's full of cards that do stuff. I think I am just going to play out this Ancient Tomb and cast Haywire Might. I'm going to need this black mana for Sephiroth at some point. Might as well use it now, I guess. Marsh Flats. We've seen a lot of that this league. Alright, I'm going to Eldrazi Temple Blade of the Blood Chief, and then attack for 1. I'm not going to equip the Blade, because it doesn't matter. And if I have to exile Overlord of the Baelmerk, or Goblin Bombardment, I want the option. Undercity Sewer, alright. Off of Marsh Flats is interesting. Did the Dimir decks play Marsh Flats? There is one basic swamp in those decks usually, but Esper Magic cards is the thing. If this is Esper, I want to jam Glaring Fleshraker immediately. If it's not, I don't. I could have Bowmaster if this is Dimir. Alright, I'm going to cast Sephiroth and see what happens. If it gets counterspelled, so be it. At least we know what's going on. If it doesn't, awesome. Alright, looks like it is Dimir. Counterspell happens. Attack for 1. Cavern of Souls, and the Thoughtseize is in my sideboard. Finally gonna find some use. Holy shit, in the main, you sick asshole. Alright, well. Bad news, everybody. Alright, Urza's Saga does stay in play now. It taps for blue until future notice. I guess I'll take Urza's Saga here. The Eldrazi spawn, at least, is something that helps me cling to life here. They can't block this, because I would sack the spawn and then they lose Harbinger. I'll trade my whole board for this fucking Harbinger, for real. Okay. Uphill battle. It's very hard to make colorless mana, especially 2 of it, with a Harbinger of the Season play. Dismember is in my sideboard. I do have the Blade available, and a basic forest. If I draw the Broodscale, we can go. Well, that's going to die anyway, so I'll grow my Haywire Might while we're at it. Okay, so they are on the full mana denial strat here. Interested in a race otherwise. Rumble. Alright. Keep those spawns flowing. Fleshraker. I can cast the first Fleshraker. The second one will be harder to get going. I guess I want Springleaf Drum here, because that... Alright, so I go sack the spawn, Fleshraker, play Boseiju as land, Springleaf Drum, makes a fresh spawn. Now we're doing something. Shredding my way through this. Okay, so I'm winning the damage race by a lot now. And I have a steady output of spawns as long as I can cast artifacts. If they kill Fleshraker, my Haywire Might continues to grow. Yeah, that Sheriff has been shot. Haywire Might is a 4/4 now. Ooh, leaving it back. Are you going to think about blocking here? Bold if true. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Now Kozilek's command is on. And another Fleshraker. Emrakul. I only have 3 card types in my graveyard. I think I'd rather have the Broodscale, though. That one just wins, right? I only have 1 green mana right now. Disappointing. I will take the Broodscale, though. Let me grab that. And I will attack with Haywire Might, see what this no attack with Harbinger means. Okay, do I want to let them untap with Counterspell mana up. I can just play this Broodscale. Oh wait, I had it, didn't I? I don't need to adapt this if I equip the sword to it. Alright. Here's Broodscale. Stern Scolding. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll pass the turn. I can Kozilek's Command for 2 if I need to. It looks like they're casting Oculus by the pause. Okay. So they can Oculize here. I can Kozilek's Command not in the end step, but here. All right. I'm going to let them Manifest Dread first, dump to Counterspell. And now how hard do I want to go? And when do I want to go? So Force of Negation and Consign to Memory are cards that are live right now. I guess I will draw for my turn before anything else happens. Just a forest. All right. Green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I want to make this many spawns? I think I do. Exile Oculus. I could also just try to combo out here. I could make spawns and draw and try to ignore Oculus. That sounds so risky. All right, I think I'm going to exile Oculus and make spawns. I'm playing around Spell Pierce. Okay, that worked. And I'll attack with my 6/6 that is lethal because I can make it 10/10. They're going to chump with Manifest, probably. Okay. And I'm going to pass. The little Haywire Might that could. Psychic Frog. I'm bigger than that, too. That's okay. They have to either lose their Frog or their Harbinger this turn. Another Saga. I'll save that until this Harbinger is dead. Oh, did I? If I re-equip, I could... They buffed Psychic Frog, then blocked. They must just have an Unearth in their hand. Okay. Alright, I am going to play the second Saga. If I re-equip, I can make another spawn 3/4. I think this 7/7 is big enough. I'm going to move the Blade onto a different creature, just in case they kill my 7/7. Or 8/8. Yeah, so they must have Unearth. That's what makes sense for their play last turn. They're holding jealously, violently onto this Harbinger of the Seas. Delighted Halfling. That is another colorless mana source. Okay, the chump block every turn will slowly grow this Eldrazi spawn. At some point, it could be big enough to tangle with Oculus. Manifest chump block. Another Oculus in the graveyard. Okay, so they're still valuing Harbinger of the Seas over pivoting onto Oculus beats. Like, they could have blocked with Harbinger, turned that Oculus face up, attacked me for 10, manifested 2 things, or they could have another Unearth. All right, they've got it all. Okay. It's starting to turn. This is pretty sweet, actually, watching this unfold. So now I am dead on the backswing if I don't do something large right now. So drawing Broodscale would be nice. The Seiju does not help. Really doesn't do anything. I can only get this other spawn up to 4. Yeah, I guess I am just dead. It only took 4 Aborn Oculuses to get me there. I could sacrifice Haywire Might to exile my Springleaf Drum and buy another turn. And that's not nothing. It's pretty close to nothing, but it's not literally nothing. All right. I could exile Saga instead. I think Springleaf Drum might actually be better than Saga here. Just give myself one more hit to find the Broodscale. Or the Emrakul. Emrakul would be nice. Oh god, this is Psychic Frog. Alright, so now I lose anyway. What a battle. Playing against sideboard cards in the main deck. Opponent's a cheater. And it still came down to blind flipping multiple Oculi in a row. Or multiple actual banger creatures in a row. Yeah, this is exactly 12, and nothing I can do about it. Brutal. Oh, but they did reveal a prismatic ending right at the end. We are Esper Oculus. Okay, Fatal Push, Dismember coming in, Thoughtseize, Haywire Might, although it was my hero that game, not that good in the matchup at large. Vexing Bauble. They do play a bunch of Force and Negations. I don't see Subtlety in any of the stock lists, but it's a card they could conceivably have. Emrakul is among the finest of my warriors here. Where am I going to get 8 sideboard cards? I don't think this is actually going to happen. maybe I don't put Fatal Push in, and it's just Dismember. That's pretty bad versus Psychic Frog, but good versus Oculus and Harbinger. Soul Guide Lantern's good. Delighted Halfling is a counter to their whole deck. Like, both their counter spells and their Harbinger fail to work under Delighted Halfling. Yeah, that's kind of the key to the matchup there. Is it Sephiroth? Like, should I not be trying to value, but going value sounds good. Maybe some of the Sephiroths, because I just need room for anything here. Do you ever cut a Blade of the Blood Chief? Springleaf Drum? I mean, Springleaf Drum isn't that important. I have all the other mana. Blade of the Blood Chief, I have the sagas that can find it, and it gets hit by all my tutor cards. I don't know, that feels pretty important. I'm going to try this, though I have moderate to high confidence it's not completely correct. Look at that, you board one out, you have it anyway. Easy. Alright, I'll keep. I will play Blade on turn 1. It didn't get Force of Negation. Good news, everyone. I have my Miser's Cavern of Soul. Another Blade, sweet. Alright, Blade of the Blood Chief. Soul Guide Lantern. I'll just park this in play, make sure I don't get cheesed by a Surveil, Oculus, untap win. I'm a green mana away from goldfishing here. Undercity Sewer kept the card on top. Malevolent Rumble. Well, I can't play that. Literally illegal. Cavern on Eldrazi. I'm gonna pass with Kozilek's Command available and just do some digging in their end step. So I can't activate the Broodscale here, even if I sneak it in. Meticulous Archive. We know they play Prismatic Ending. Good thing I drew 66% of the Blade of the Blood trees in my deck in the first 2 turns. If they have Clarion Conqueror, I can exile it this turn with Kozilek's Command. Psychic Frog with a mana up. That could be so many things. Let's start testing, though. Target player scries X and exile target creature. Okay. That resolved. Another Broodscale. A Saga. I took out the Springleaf Drum. This Saga isn't even actually good. Alright, I'm going to go bottom, and draw the Urza Saga, just as something that does anything. Ooh. Saying there's a chance. Forest. Broodscale. Equip. Adapt. Okay, it seems I have an infinitely large creature. I will have infinite spawns as well, because with a second blade, I can have infinitely large spawns if I'm willing to click through it, which I guess I have to be. So now with double blade, every spawn makes 2 spawns and functionally 2 mana. But more importantly than the mana is the body that the mana is represented by. All right, move one of the blades onto one of the spawns. And I'm just going to pass with a bunch of 2020s in play. I could pop Soul Guide Lantern and look for an actual win con. But I feel like, I mean, they would need Damnation, right? Toxic Deluge isn't going to get you out of this. No amount of spot removal is. This isn't too bad to click through on Magic Online once you set your auto yields. This spawn is 18 now. That is enough to be lethal. Keep going wide. This is a spot where you could just declare a loop in a paper game and declare I'm passing the turn with 1 billion power creatures. You do have to pick a number. You can't say infinite according to the Magic rules, but the number can be arbitrarily large. And I just have to make sure I don't misclick and sacrifice one of my 18 power creatures. I guess with the white splash, they could have Wrath of the Skies. That's not ideal. I'll make one more 18 power creature just to get this game moving forward. And they're on Sweeper or Bust, so I don't think the difference between 5 and 20 of these things is meaningful. But I just want to make sure I don't get, like, push, prismatic ending, like spot removal if I only make 3. Guess I can do this anytime, too. Yeah, so I'll move the sword onto the last spawn and then pass. Okay, so move the sword over 1. Alright, now I'm going to pass the turn. I can make infinite mana and infinitely large spawn at instant speed. Did we do enough? Do you have Wrath of the Skies? That's the only card I can think of that really gets me here. Or think of that they could play, like Damnation, Wrath of God, etc. You got me. Fatal Push resolves. I'm not going infinite in response. Okay, it's my turn again. Play Urza's Saga, and I'll attack with my creatures. All of them, even the 0/1's getting a taste. Sweet. All right, we did enough. Game 3. Play the Blood Chief seems pretty important, huh? Am I worried about Force of Negation? I don't see Subtlety in the list. If Subtlety was there too, I'd be worried about it. Soul Guide Lantern and 4 Blades. I have basically gutted my entire Saga package. I think that's okay though. It's like combo out, break up their bullshit, or hit them with Emrakul are my outs. Yeah, there we go. I wish I could get these Fatal Pushes in to take the Psychic Frog pressure off, but I just don't know where to put it. Could be a skill issue because I'm not familiar with the deck, but it doesn't look like there's room to sideboard in 9 cards. I'll keep. I got all the juice. Okay, basic forest. And do I want to get this blade down? I think I do. Just having stuff in play feels pretty good. The white splash makes it a little worse than it would be versus Dimir, but the core of their deck is not good at removing an artifact from play once it resolves. We're getting frogged. That makes the game a lot harder. We did not get frogged. Another blade. This is why I was okay boarding one out, because I always draw 2. Scoreboard. I think... Do I want to just send Fleshraker out? I kind of think I do. This dies to a lot of stuff, but it's the best card I could possibly play if their next play is Harbinger of the Seas. End step fetch. Tapped white mana. This could be Fatal Push still. They're just doing tricks on it. Look at this. The Surveil hasn't even resolved. Just hitting me with Fatal Push. What if you Surveilled into something that would have killed that incidentally? It's crazy they're a 3-color deck with main deck Harbinger of the Seas too. But I guess the basic swamp now makes that line pretty reasonable. Thoughtseize. What's it feel like to have your brain reached into? Eldrazi aren't the only spaghetti fingers I'm capable of. Spaghetti is going right in your ear holes. I Thoughtseize to counterspell out of their hand and didn't even have to lose life for it, for the pleasure. I'm going to stir first. Soul Guide Lantern, what's up? Any order. I am going to Soul Guide Lantern to try to take the pressure off. Take Counterspell out of that deck. This makes Oculus and Murktide Regent worse. I don't even know if they have Murktide Regent in their builds. I should probably look at that. Yeah, there's a couple. Alright, here's this jerk. I do have a Rumble to jumpstart colorless mana. They have a Springs that if represents Spell Pierce, it could be bad for me. Alright, I'll play Saga to play around Spell Pierce. And Malevolent Rumble. Delighted Halfling, that card's really good. Halfling's in my hand. Blade of the Blood Chief in play. Got an extra one of those now. Equip. And we're off. Halfling is probably my best card versus Harbinger, like I was saying during sideboarding. Ooh, alright. I'm going to put Blade of the Blood Chief on my spawn before I play Halfling, because if this gets Fatal Pushed, I want this to be double big. Halfling. We're in there. And now if I dismember this Harbinger, Blade triggers off any dead creature. Cycling Unearth. Yeah, we got him with the Soul Guide. I really don't want Dismember to be countered, so I'm going to try to be strategic about my spot for that. I've got so much mana, though. Oh, this might be a Murktide. Yeah, Murktide it is. Snuck it in there. I could Dismember the Murktide. It is small enough for that. They're leaving up that pesky blue-blue, though. And they tap their black to play the Murktide, which tells me that they actually have a blue-blue spell, and they're not trying to represent removal or anything this turn. Okay, I think now I should draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern. It missed its window to be useful. Broodscale. I've heard that one's good. How do I use all of my cards this turn? I think I play Broodscale, they counterspell it, then I kill Harbinger with Dismember. Alright, Broodscale. On the stack. Live in fear. Infinite combo is threatened. Maybe it was better to do it literally the other way. Make them counter the Dismember and then win the game. I'm very smart and good at this game. Consign to memory, Con Queso. Alright, that is dealt with. And now, if I Dismember, I go to 9. Right, yeah, I'm going to Dismember this Harbinger right now. Yeah, I should have done that the other way. Do I think it's funny to be terrible? A little bit. All right, Beseiju who endures. And black 1/2, play Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. And I think I sack my halfling here. Getting a card's pretty important. Getting a life's pretty important. This spawn being 4/5, not that important, but the next power and toughness matter a lot. Okay. I definitely fucked up that turn, but not bad. But if Consigned to Memory was the interaction they had, and I'm not trying to justify it, it was definitely, I did that backwards, but if Consigned to Memory is the interaction they had, it doesn't interact with Dismember anyway. But if they're holding Counterspell, that's a little stinky. If they kill Sephiroth, my Eldrazi spawn becomes 6/7, and I rule the battlefield. Prismatic Ending, though, does kill Sephiroth without killing it. Alright, smart. The Bloodchief Blades do not trigger off exile. Okay, an attack for 5. I'm at 11, critically. That number is not 10, because of that single Sephiroth trigger. Oh my god. Oh my god! How much do you cost? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I sack my spawn, we're in business. Alright, I'm gonna attack. Get this 4 damage through. Okay. Flying Trample, protection from instants. Losing the spawn's not great, but casting Emrakul is. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. No! Saga doesn't know how to tap for mana. Shit. That's super awkward. Yikes. I forgot that it skipped that chapter. The new rules got me. This is the first time I've actually experienced this happening in real life. Okay. What is in the graveyard? We've got Instant, Kindred. Yeah, we've got it all. Uh-oh. Well, that's bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can command for 4. Doing that would have made 4 spawns, which is +8. So that wasn't lethal. Alright, I guess I'm just passing the turn and hoping I'm not dead. If they have Psychic Frog or a second Murktide, I can lose here. Wow, that sucks. Got tricked by onboard rules interactions. Okay, they fetched a tap land. They don't have 6 cards. If they mill 2 cards somehow and then a Boron Oculus, I lose to that as well. Orcish Bowmaster kills me. We haven't seen one of those yet. Danger Zone. Okay. End of turn. I'm going to Kozilek's Command for 1. Make a spawn, scry 1. This spawn does represent 2 damage on the board, and the draw is dangerous. I can make constructs, even though I can't tap for mana. Consigned to Memory, Con Queso. Alright, that's countered. Alright, Emrakul, I need you, girl. Show up big. Make a construct. This is 7, 8, 9 damage. Glaring Fleshraker. Alright. There are 6 card types in my graveyard. Is enchantment one of them? Looks like no. So this will be the 7th card type, and then I can just cast Emrakul. I'm going to be really careful about this. We've got land, creature, sorcery, instant kindred, and artifact. Yeah, that's the 6. I don't have an enchantment. This is good for Emrakul. Oh right, I don't get to float mana. God, that's so weird. All right, I'm not making a construct. I am tutoring Blade of the Bloodchief. If I attack first, a removal spell could, like, they're motivated to kill this creature, and that one makes Emrakul not castable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, all right. I will do the responsible thing and not go for that 4 damage. Oh my god. All right. Weird stuff going on. If they have another consign, I've successfully taken control of their turn. Emrakul's in. Attack for 4. I get your turn. Boron Oculus, Stern Scolding. So they were actually that close to going off with Murktide. Watery Grave, shock it in. Yes. Attack with Murktide. Oh god, I have to pass priority for both players here. Block. So they get to go to their turn, play a Boron Oculus. They have a Stern Scolding in their hand. I'm not going to play it for them, that's for sure. Alright, so they get an Oculus. Emrakul does have Trample. Stern Scolding a Boron Oculus in their hand. There it is. Unearth Harbinger of the Seas. I don't think that helps. Yeah, I'm still hitting for 8 here. They need to unmorph Psychic Frog. That's still... I think unmorphing Psychic Frog does exactly win the game for them. Alright, I'm going to attack with my creatures. This is all I got. Oh, they would have had to block with both. I'm not supposed to attack with Construct here. Shit. Alright, if this is Psychic Frog, or no, they don't have black because of their own Harbinger. Their hand is Stern Scolding. I don't think there's anything they could have here. At least I hope that's true. Oh, what a battle. Emrakul finally showing up, and I'm on the board. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw for round 4. I will keep this hand with great mana and some dig. Scalding Tarn. Cavernon Citizen. I'm going to save that Cavern for Eldrazi. Man, these Tempest basics look so good. My mind just drifts to my basic lands as my opponent's in the tank over my 1-drop. Alright, Undercity Sewers. Are we running back to Mere Murktide? They kept their card on top. In the double halfling Cavern of Souls hand, pretty cool if this is a counterspell deck. This could be Goryo's Vengeance. Alright, Psychic Frog is in. I'm ready. I am going to cook this Psychic Frog. Force of Negation is the only card I'm worried about. I'm not going to let them untap. Do I want spawns or cards? I think I want cards. My hand has a lot of mana. Target player scries X. Scry this, exile this. It will cost them 2 cards even if they have force. But I would certainly prefer my spell resolve. They do have force, pitching Sink into Stupor. You got it. 4 cards in hand over there. Discarding a Borinoculus. Shit. It's probably about to get reanimated somehow. Yep. So ironically, if I had just passed the turn, I would have been able to exile that Oculus. Alright, I guess the goal now is just combo. I could try to exile the Oculus with command. If their last card in hand is exactly counterspell, that sucks ass. Alright, I think I have to combo them out. Stirrings. Ugh. Alright, this is getting bad. I have no combo pieces, no prospect to have combo pieces ever. Yeah, I guess I'll exile Psychic Frog and dig. I'll see if they fetch in the end step. Because if they fetch off of Counterspell, that's pretty good for me. They didn't fall for it. Okay. I will just pass priority then. The no fetch makes me think they do have Counterspell. They jump the frog. Exile Psychic Frog. Target player scries. Oh god. Why does it look like this? These cards look so bad. Alright, well, that is Counterspell. Okay, so we're just getting run over by the Oculus Nut Draw here. Turn 2 Frog on the play, backed by Force of Negation into Reanimated Oculus. Cool. Level and Rumble. I guess I'll take a swing at it. This could reveal cards from my deck that I don't really want them to know I have. But if I have any chance at the game, I don't think I do. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they have enough flying damage here. Alright. Obliterated. Okay, we just played against this deck. The last one we played against had main deck Harbinger. This opponent didn't bother to give me enough time to figure out if that's going to happen. Force of Negation confirmed. I'm going to mostly do what I did last time. Again, I'd love the Fatal Pushes in, but I don't know where I'd put them. Do I want Vexing Bauble just for Force of Negation? Obviously, I lost that game to a Force of Negation, but that's because I was on defense. Like, my cards on offense mostly don't care about that. Alright, I'm making this same set of changes again. Alright, I will keep this. I need Ancient Stirrings to find colorless mana. Stirring Urza's Saga to my hand. Scalding Tarn from the opponent. I guess I will stir again here. Emrakul. Do I want them to know that's in my hand? Or do I just bank another Cozy's command? I think I'll bank another Kozilek's command. One of my precious dismembers sent to the bottom. Alright, am I gonna get consigned here? No. Alright, they just fetch shocked, so we'll probably see Thought Scour in the end step. Harbinger, great. Alright, this at least taps for colorless. That's sick. The reverse here is this will tap for colorless even if they get that Harbinger into play. Well, there's my best draw. I will once again ask about Force of Negation. Exile target creature, and I want to scry X. Can they full nut draw twice? 2/3 of the way there. Pitch to Murktide Regent. The problem is I have to do it there, where it'll at least cost them 2 cards, because they play more counterspells than they do forces. And if I let them untap, then they just counterspell. That is 6 cards in the graveyard. Oculus one way or another. The Frog Force Oculus play pattern, one way or another. I'm in better shape against it this game than I was last game, though. I at least have access to a sword in the near future. Okay, fetching a tap land now. So it's not Oculus that they're looking for. They were just trying to select before they draw with Frog, which makes me think their hand might be weak. All right, well, I drew that one. Now I don't have to think about casting it. Or don't have to think about tutoring it. Are they going to consign my search? No. All right. Thought about it for a long time. All right, I'm going to try Fleshraker and try to get a trigger out of it with Soul Guide Lantern here. If they have interaction, they'll probably use it. But we got to work our way through it anyway. Counterspell, Soul Guide Lantern, hit that Harbinger. I guess I'm supposed to target Counterspell, or just one of the spells, because I can bomb the Harbinger if they try to reanimate it. I don't think I'm worried about them casting Oculus or Murktide this turn. And that is a lot of extra pressure. Alright, I will exile their graveyards. They got me. Pulled me into it. I'm going to get the Overgrown Tomb in the end step. This also shuffles Emrakul and Dismember back into the mix. Or, I shuffled last turn. Don't actually need that. Alright, Malevolent Rumble. I'll take Glaring Fleshraker and pass the turn. Undercity Sewer. Dumped an Unearth. So they have to discard a card to jump the Frog. Thoughtseize. Chill. Alright, well, I guess they don't have to exile target creature, target player scries X and draws a card. Counterspell. Yep. Alright. So Sephiroth and Fleshraker are the cards in my hand. Took Sephiroth. No respect for the top deck Broodscale. Come on, deck. Ship it. That might just mean they have consigned to memory and they don't care about that. Alright, I'm going to play around 2 mana counters and Thoughtseize for as long as I can. Yep, Stern Scolding. And we're cooked. It does feel weird playing this multiple piece combo deck in a format where you can just play a vintage deck. Like, this is just Dimir Luris without the Luris. Dumped an Oculus. Did we have Reanimate set up the whole time? Alright. I will cast Malevolent Rumble. A bunch of garbage that doesn't win me the game. So this is 9 damage on board, 10, 11, 12 if they discard their whole hand to Frog. If 2 of those 3 cards are spells, they can jump Frog and exile Murktide. Yeah, I mean, they did kind of have the top 1% of draws that their deck's capable of in both games, but at the same time, Thoughtseize, Counterspell, steady sources of card advantage, this is just good magic. Like either of these games that we played without Psychic Frog on 2, if they have to pitch Force of Negation, but they're not immediately recouping these cards, if the Frog's not there to dump the Oculus for the quick reanimate, whole game hinged around this both times, and I did what I could to fight over it. Just lost the fight fair and square. Fatal Push. Alright. Well, that's dead. Yeah, the games they have Psychic Frog make me want to get the Fatal Pushes into my sideboard, whatever the cost. But the games without Psychic Frog, like we played in the previous round, it's not so bad. Like, we have stuff that can move around and play the game. Alright, so I need Emrakul here. I'm not sure if I can even cast her. I think I can. Emrakul? Emrakul? Shit. Alright. Okay. Revenge from the Esper Murktide contingent after a really good 3-game set last round into a slaughter in 2 games in this round. On to the final one. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. I will keep Bloodstained Mire. Come on, settle down. I'm sick of this. I've had enough of it. Okay, it's something different. Cecil Dark Knight. When this deals damage, you lose that much life. If your life total is half your starting life total, it flips, and the back is a 4/4 lifelink with some other words on it. I think I want to start on one of these sagas to get the tutor happening faster. And I'm going to play Soul Guide Lantern just in case. I've been burned the last few consecutive rounds by Dimir discard. I wonder if this is Death Shadow. Oh, Grixis Shadow with Cecil, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, Thoughtseize, Cecil's going to flip on turn 2. Not bad. Took my Flesh Raker. Oh yeah, and my Sephiroth. So they're going to go to 8. I'm going to go to 18. Then Cecil's going to be in 4/4 mode. Vexing Bauble. This deck might have cards that care about that. Anything's possible. Bauble, Drum. All I can do is try to combo out over top. This is kind of a non-bow with the card Death Shadow, if that's even in the deck. Because if they hit me, they're back up to 12 and their shadow's tiny. They shouldn't have too much trouble treading water with this, though. Like, if they fetch Shock, attack with Cecil, and the lifelink doesn't kick in and shrink the shadow till after damage is done. Right, other attacking creatures are indestructible, is the flavor text on this card. Like I'd block or interact with anything. Okay, I will tutor the Blade, cast the Rumble. Oh god. Well, Stubborn and I would have got me here, even if I made my land drop. But it is still annoying. Alright. I found a hit for that. I'll probably be drawing a card with Soul Guide Lantern this turn, trying to dig out of this. Do I think this deck is going to have a Boron Oculus? Would I rather draw with Vexing Bauble? I think I'd rather draw with Bauble, though they might have some Mishra's Bauble stuck in their hand. Alright, Soul Guide Lantern, draw a card. Orcish Bowmaster could happen to me. It's not like I can play around it. Blade of the Blood Chief. Taking damage for all my spells, that's how we party. Did I hit a Broodscale? I guess I could have just made a 4/4 and tried to block this turn, huh? Okay. I can make a 5/5 next turn. If I get a next turn. Gotta try to gum this up somehow. If they have Teamer Battle Rage or any of the current variants of that have been printed, this is 8 damage. That didn't happen. Vexing Bauble, is that worth a card to me here? What would they do? I don't think it matters. They can cast any card that they would pitch cast. Overgrown Tomb. Put myself in bolt range. Love to see it. Okay. I lose to a removal spell either way. So I guess I would rather try to gum things up with a 5/5. Now 4/4. It'll be a 5/5 shortly. They have a Fatal Push. I'll float a green with this. That buys me a turn to block with Basking Broodscale. Haywire Might, also a blocker. Just wasting time here. Broodscale, get in. Alright, here we go. I have presented, I'm not dead on board, and I have lethal on the pushback if you don't have 2 removal spells. 2 cards left in hand. I didn't Fatal Push in the end step. Cecil has to fight. I have to block. I go to 6, so now I can survive another Cecil hit if I need to take risks for a turn. Don't care about that. 1 card left in their hand. Please don't be Fatal Push. Okay, so I need to equip, that's 1, and to activate, that's 2. Or that's 3. If I make a construct, I don't get that. Yeah, I mean, all I can do is float and hope this works. 3rd Blade of the Blood Chief. Equip? Question mark? Oh my god. Well, we're not out of it yet. I guess if this is going to die, but I need it to attack, so Overgrown Tomb, I'll take the damage. Activate this. Trigger resolved. Yes, I'd like a spawn. Okay. Are we going? Looks like we're going. Alright. I'm getting equipped up here. This is the infinites line. They're going to have to chump with Psychic Frog to survive this turn. I have unlimited chump blockers. Alright, I'll move a sword over. I'll move 2 swords over. Start diversifying. Okay, I'm gonna go to combat. Force this Psychic Frog to chump. That triggers all my swords. And I think I want to just keep making huge blockers. I don't think I'm going to play this Delighted Halfling. I can't imagine it will matter either way. And if they spend any time thinking about the card in my hand, that's pure upside. If their card in hand is Lightning Bolt, they have the out to draw another Lightning Bolt. I don't care about Double Strike Trample, like Team or Battle Rage style effects, because I have infinite power and toughness of blocking. Okay, I think I have done enough. Either they burn me out, or they have some sort of flying enabler, or I win. Those are the only outcomes here. Cool. All right, steady beats, steady disruption, but inevitability of the combo came through. I don't think I want to Thoughtseize this opponent. I do like my removal spells. All of them. I think this might be a matchup where I want one Emrakul. Vexing Baubles out. Haywire might actually save my ass there. Should I be planning for a game where I have Urza Saga popping on a turn where I'm otherwise dead on board and have exactly my combo piece as the other chump blocker? Because I don't like Haywire Might as a card here. But it did do exactly what I needed it to that game. I'm going to cut it. In Halfling's good. Cavern's good. Beseiju probably doesn't matter, but it is a green source. I think I shave one Sephiroth here. And maybe I just don't bring in both dismembers. Just kind of out of cards I want to cut. Good thing I didn't cut that Beseiju. Here I am with no green. All right, math time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cards I'd be happy to draw here. That doesn't sound good enough. I'm going to mulligan this. I will keep this one. And get rid of Overgrown Tomb. Bauble. In before Vexing Bauble. Bauble versus Bauble. They looked at their own hand and must like what they see because they have not fetched. Stirring or Blade? I'm going to Blade. This could get just 1-for-1 Stubborn Denialed. But with Urza Saga and Ancient Stirring, I think I'm okay with them using a piece of interaction here. Alright, Consigned to Memory. That was going to be high value at any point where it happened. And this is Grixis, unlike the Esper decks we've played against. Alright, Frog. Fatal Push off the top. Bummer. Stirring. Kozilek's Command. Bank it. And Urza Saga. Get in there. Alright, turn 2 Frog Gaming. They have the nuts. Discard an extra land for some damage. Do they have a Harbinger? Not with this mana, they don't. Do they have Blood Moon? Would they cast that card if they did? Dragon's Rage Channeler. Death Shadow. That is the correct size. Oh yeah, here we are. Opponent is all in, as they say. Glaring Fleshraker. That's a little risky. I think I'm going to exile Psychic Frog. And do I want friends or cards? I think I want friends here. Because I have Glaring Fleshraker. I have a Tutor. I have another Cozy's Command. If I can just do a lot. This is 9 damage. They might get Delirium here. That doesn't give them Delirium. Yeah, I just take 9 here. They're bobbling me. Is it a Broodscale? Please tell me it is. I'm going to give them nothing here. Except a big chunk of my life total. Keep the blockers online. They get 1 random draw. I hope it's not Consigned to Memory. Beseiju sucks. Can I win this turn? Probably not, but I can hurt them a lot. All right, I'm going to Tutor. Blade, Springleaf Drum. Blade could get them. I'll have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana to play with here. I think I do want the Blade. Play the Beseiju they know about. Glaring Fleshraker. And do I want to equip the Blade? I don't think so. I think I want the most possible mana available. Because if I cast Kozilek's Command, their Death Shadows will grow in combat. If they have a removal spell, that's already devastating. Alright, I'm gonna pass without equipping Blade. I'm just trying to think of how I can deal this last 9 damage. Alright, please don't have a Trample Enabler. Block, block. And Command. I'm going to go cards and friends here. I'm not trying to answer their board. I'm trying to kill them. Spawns, scries. I get 1 on the house from Fleshraker. This grows the shadows. All right, my spell resolved. I think they have nothing here. Basking Broodscale is the best card imaginable. Maybe I should have put that underneath the Urza Saga in case they have Thoughtseize. But they're not safe from a Thoughtseize either. Like, they go to 4, and then they have to beat a Fleshraker. I don't care about that one. Did we do it, team? We're so close. Rumble. Rumble pings them for 1. What card would they play? Like, Fatal Push might interact here. If they didn't have Revolt, Fatal Push on Broodscale is actually pretty offensive here. Okay, Llanowar Waste, Broodscale. I'm going to just try to muscle through this and hope they have nothing. And the Fleshraker might kill them even if they do a Fatal Push here. Okay, equip. Moment of Truth. It is Fatal Push. So I could make a spawn, but then I'm out of green. I actually need the spawn. All right, that's dead. The equip fizzles. I have Malevolent Rumble, which will make a spawn. Oh, right, I have to sack a spawn to do that. This is Eldrazi mana floating. In that case, do I want to start growing my Fleshraker? I think I do. Equip this. This gets bigger. They will have to block with one of their cards. Another Broodscale. No, I can't take this Kozilek's command. Right, Basking Broodscale. Done. Opponent's at 3. I mean, I'm alive here. They have to block. Channeler is in. I'm going to sack a spawn so I win this fight. And then I can chump and hope that Psychic Frog doesn't get them through this. If they draw a removal spell, they win. If they don't, I'm in good shape. Jumping the Frog. Didn't have to do that because their other attackers are lethal. It's not like I could gamble against the card and just take 10. Block. I'm at 7. I have a 7/7. You've got 2 cards in hand. Another Frog. Okay. We've got another chance at the dub here. All right, Broodscale deals 1 to them on cast. If Broodscale resolves, I think I win. Because this puts them to 1. But that's not quite true. All right, I'm going to float green with Boseiju, play the other one, and equip Blade to Broodscale. If this resolves, I win, and if they respond, I win. Okay, yeah, we managed to squeeze it out by exactly 1 point of damage. Wow, awesome. That was a great match. I will say, despite the negative record, the gameplay with this is delightful. There's so many little things going on, and I identified potential user errors like leaving up green on that big Kozilek's command in round 1 might have actually won me that match. Playing to my outs on Malevolent Rumble and Ancient Stirrings. Sideboarding. I'm not quite sure how we get Fatal Pushes in versus Dimir, even though they do feel kind of important. I can see how this deck would win a lot in the hands of a master. I'm not sure about Sephiroth. I know I did shave it a few times in the second half of the league. And this drew, 2 cards in 13 games I think we just played. It was a lethal combo outlet once when I otherwise would have had to pass the turn. That's, of course, one of the values of the card. I did beat that Murktide Regent by 1 point after pinging them exactly 1 time with Sephiroth, the first Esper opponent. Like, they attacked me twice with a 5/5, and I was at 10 before Sephiroth triggered, and I won that game at 1. The real question is not whether Sephiroth is good, it's if it's better than the other 4 cards that would be in this slot otherwise. And asking the deck to cast a black card isn't free. We have Halfling and Overgrown Tomb and Llanowar Waste that can make that happen. It's not, like, hard. We're playing a lot of these cards anyway, but it's not free to get this. And there were turns where I had it but couldn't cast it throughout the league. 5 matches in the hands of a novice is not enough to make a decision, but definitely cool that it's out there being tried. And almost all of these matches were great, other than the match we got steamrolled by back-to-back Psychic Frog into Force Negation nut draws out of Esper Frog. Like, sure, that's going to happen sometimes, but more often than not, they either won't have the turn 2 frog or won't have the force to protect it. And both games I did have Kozilek's command on time to attack it when they were tapped out. That's whatever, that's magic, that'll happen. Really good back and forth gameplay with this and the powerful combo. We won a bunch of games at 1 life or dead on board or dead on the backswing or whatever, just dead to so many things, but then the pieces came together. I like it. I do appreciate this type of deck. And I believe Broodscale won a regional championship or a spotlight series, some major event recently, so the deck obviously does have real legs. This kind of feels like the heir apparent to Hardened Scales, which used to be a viable modern deck but has mostly fallen off. If you like fiddly little permanents that eventually result in winning the game somehow, I recommend this deck. Argold, thanks for sharing this with us. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.